unlocking your potential, daily habits that shape a new you, mindset and motivation for success. Feeling stuck or overwhelmed? Discover powerful life lessons that can reshape your perspective and help you navigate challenges with greater ease and wisdom. What if the key to solving most of your problems lies not in changing your circumstances, but in changing your approach? Explore essential truths about growth, mindset, and connection. Imagine a life with less stress and more fulfillment. We're diving into core life principles that, when embraced, can fundamentally improve your journey and unlock lasting joy. Life, as we all know, is truly a journey of continuous learning. Let's be honest, none of us arrives with a complete instruction manual. None of us has it all figured out. And that is perfectly okay. In fact, the very moment you start thinking you've got everything under control, life often has a funny and sometimes humbling way of reminding you otherwise, doesn't it? But here's the secret. The real wisdom lies not in trying to avoid these humbling moments, but in actively embracing them as invaluable opportunities for profound growth. Think about it. Every setback you encounter, every mistake you make, every unexpected detour you didn't plan on, they are all essential parts of the curriculum in this grand school of life. The more lessons you absorb, the better equipped you become to navigate whatever challenges arise. This journey isn't about achieving some impossible state of perfection. It's entirely about consistent forward progression. Ever wonder why some people seem to bounce back from failure while others stay stuck? Could it be their relentless commitment to learning? Consider this. The most truly successful individuals aren't those who have magically avoided failure, but rather those who simply never stopped learning from it. They are the ones who consistently ask, what valuable lesson can I extract from this experience? Instead of getting bogged down in the victim mentality of, why is this happening to me? When you consciously shift your perspective in this way, problems begin to transform. They start looking less like insurmountable roadblocks and more like strategic stepping stones guiding you forward. Adopting this mindset is incredibly powerful. It fundamentally means that nothing you go through is ever truly wasted. Every single experience, good or bad, adds a brand new, valuable tool to your personal toolkit. When I was younger, I harbored the naive belief that once I reached a certain level of success or understanding, the challenges would somehow magically cease. But life isn't a fixed destination you arrive at. It's a constant dynamic evolution. You don't just achieve a state of wisdom or inner peace and then permanently stay there. It requires continuous effort. You have to keep working at it, keep actively learning, keep intentionally growing. The moment you allow yourself to become complacent, the moment you stop seeking growth, life often has a way of pulling the rug out from under you, serving as a sharp reminder that there is always more to learn. Do you find yourself avoiding discomfort? What if leaning into challenges is where true strength is forged? One of the most significant lessons I've personally learned is that genuine growth rarely, if ever, happens within the confines of our comfort zones. It's precisely in those uncomfortable, uncertain, stretching moments that you truly discover the depths of who you really are. It's when you are pushed beyond your familiar limits that you unearth reserves of strength you never even knew you possessed. So instead of instinctively running from discomfort, try learning to lean into it consciously. Allow it to be your teacher. Whether it manifests as a difficult but necessary conversation, a demanding project that stretches your skills, or navigating a painful season of loss, recognize that there is potential for immense growth embedded within all of it. We currently live in a culture obsessed with instant gratification, immediate results. We often want to bypass the struggle entirely and jump straight to the success story. But authentic, meaningful growth simply doesn't operate that way. It's not an overnight transformation. It's a slow, steady, gradual process. Think of it like planting a seed. You provide water, you nurture the soil, and then you patiently wait. For a while, nothing seems to happen on the surface. But beneath the ground, unseen, crucial developments are taking place. Roots are spreading deep. Strength is quietly building. And then one day, that persistent seed finally breaks through the soil. Personal growth mirrors this natural process exactly. You might not witness tangible progress immediately, day by day, but every small, intentional step forward counts significantly. Every conscious choice to learn from a mistake instead of giving up entirely is a definite win. Are you limiting your learning to just books and classrooms? Where else might life be trying to teach you? And remember, learning doesn't exclusively come from textbooks or formal educational settings. Some of the most profoundly valuable life lessons emerge directly from life itself, from raw experiences, from the diverse people you encounter, from the unexpected challenges you are forced to confront. Strive to be a lifelong student. Cultivate curiosity. Ask questions constantly. Practice active listening. Listen more intently than you speak. Intentionally surround yourself with people who challenge your existing perspectives and genuinely push you to become a better version of yourself. And perhaps most importantly, never allow yourself to reach a point where you believe you're too wise, too experienced, or too accomplished to learn something new. The moment you cease learning is the moment you cease growing. And when growth stops, stagnation, a slow withering, inevitably begins. I vividly recall a period in my life when I genuinely thought I possessed all the answers. I was young, brimming with confidence, perhaps in retrospect a little too confident. Then life inevitably threw me a significant curveball. It was a situation where absolutely nothing unfolded according to my carefully laid plans, where every potential door seemed to slam shut, and every ounce of effort felt like it hit an invisible, impenetrable wall. I could have easily let that situation break me. I could have remained stuck, wallowing in my frustration, repeatedly asking, why me? It certainly wasn't easy. Facing adversity rarely is. But looking back now, that intense season of struggle proved to be one of the greatest, most impactful teachers I have ever encountered. It taught me invaluable lessons in resilience, the importance of patience, and the sheer power of unwavering persistence. It vividly demonstrated that growth often looks exactly like falling down repeatedly, mustering the courage to get back up each time, and simply trying again. How can shifting your perspective on problems unlock your path to progress? You see, every single problem you face contains something valuable it can teach you. Every challenge inherently carries a lesson within its core. It might not always be immediately obvious, and it certainly might not always feel comfortable to confront. But if you commit to looking closely with an open mind and heart, you will find the embedded wisdom. And when you successfully learn that specific lesson, you not only equip yourself to solve the immediate problem in front of you, but you also proactively prepare yourself for the inevitable next challenge. Because let's face reality. Life isn't going to suddenly stop throwing challenges your way. But when you wholeheartedly embrace learning, when you consciously make growth a top priority in your life, you actually become stronger, more resilient with every single hit you take. The true beauty of this lifelong journey lies in the fact that you don't have to achieve perfection every single time. You simply have to maintain the commitment to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Growth isn't defined by never making mistakes. Rather, it's defined by actively learning from those mistakes. It's about fundamentally reframing failures, not as definitive endings, but as integral parts of the ongoing process. It's about deeply knowing that every single time you stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone, every time you push past what feels familiar and safe, you are actively becoming a better, more capable, more evolved version of yourself. So if there's just one crucial takeaway from our conversation today, let it be this profound truth. Never, ever stop learning. Never stop actively seeking growth. Life is absolutely brimming with lessons. And the more you consciously learn, the more effectively equipped you become to handle absolutely whatever comes your way. Because ultimately, growth isn't just about accumulating more things or experiences in your life. It's fundamentally about becoming more as a person. And when you truly become more, when you embrace growth with an open heart and a willing, receptive spirit, you'll likely discover that a vast majority, perhaps even 93% of your problems begin to look significantly smaller, more manageable, and far less intimidating. Are you constantly pouring into others while your own cup runs dry? Why is self-care not selfish but essential? Life has an uncanny knack for pulling us in 1,000 different directions simultaneously, doesn't it? The relentless demands of work, the intricate needs of family, the complexities of relationships, and the countless everyday responsibilities can easily make us feel like we're constantly running on empty. And yet, amidst all this busyness, how often do we genuinely pause to check in with ourselves? How frequently do we ask the simple but crucial question, am I truly okay? The stark truth is, we often become so preoccupied with taking care of everything and everyone else around us that we consistently neglect the one person who needs our care and attention the most, ourselves. And when we fall into this pattern of self-neglect, it doesn't just impact us individually. It inevitably ripples outwards, affecting everything and everyone in our orbit. Please understand this clearly. Taking care of yourself is not some indulgent luxury. It is an absolute necessity. It is not a selfish act. It is fundamentally essential for sustained well-being and effectiveness. You simply cannot pour from an empty cup. And you cannot keep endlessly giving when you have absolutely nothing left within you to give. The primary reason so many of us consistently feel overwhelmed, chronically stressed, and utterly burnt out is precisely because we are operating on fumes. We mistakenly believe that relentlessly pushing through exhaustion is a sign of strength. But real, sustainable strength actually lies in possessing the wisdom to know when to pause, when to rest, when to honestly admit, I need a moment. It lies in fully recognizing that you absolutely deserve the very same care, compassion, and attention that you so freely and generously give to others. Beyond bubble baths, what does real, deep self-care look like? And how can boundaries protect your well-being? We've all been told countless times about the importance of physical health. eating nutritious foods, engaging in regular exercise, ensuring adequate sleep. But true self-care extends far deeper than just the physical realm. It also encompasses our vital mental and emotional well-being. It's about intentionally creating sacred space for yourself. Space to simply breathe. Space to process your thoughts and emotions. Space to just be without demands or expectations. It involves consciously allowing yourself permission to step away from the constant noise and stimulation of the world to genuinely recharge your inner batteries. Because if you consistently refuse to do so, life has a way of eventually forcing you to stop. Whether it manifests as physical exhaustion, unexpected illness, or simply hitting an emotional breaking point. Your body and mind will ultimately demand the rest and recuperation you've been persistently denying them. One of the most potent and empowering forms of self-care involves setting healthy boundaries. This means learning the crucial skill of saying no when you genuinely need to, without excessive guilt or explanation. It requires understanding that your time and energy are incredibly valuable resources, and you are not obligated to give them away indiscriminately. It is perfectly okay to decline invitations that don't align with your needs. It's okay to turn off your phone and disconnect. It's absolutely okay to take an entire day solely for yourself without feeling an ounce of guilt. You see, guilt often acts as the primary thief of self-care. It tries to convince you that prioritizing your own needs is inherently wrong or selfish, when in fact it is one of the most fundamentally right and responsible things you can possibly do. Because when you consistently take care of yourself, you become significantly better equipped to handle and care for everything else in your life. How can being mindful of what you consume physically, mentally, and emotionally drastically improve your well-being? Effective self-care also involves being highly mindful of what you allow into your personal space, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's about consciously choosing to surround yourself with people who genuinely lift you up, individuals who respect your established boundaries, those who bring authentic positivity and encouragement into your life. Furthermore, it encompasses being discerning about what you consume on all levels, whether it's the food you nourish your body with, the media you allow to influence your thoughts, or the very conversations you choose to engage in. Absolutely everything you take in has an effect on your overall state of being. True self-care involves making deliberate choices that genuinely nourish and replenish you, rather than choices that deplete and drain your precious energy. We often fall into the trap of thinking of self-care as something we'll eventually get to when we magically find some spare time. But here's the crucial reality. You have to actively make time for it. You must consciously prioritize it. Schedule it into your routine and commit to it with the same level of importance you would assign to any other significant responsibility, because it is profoundly important. Self-care isn't about escaping from life. It's about ensuring you possess the resilience and energy to fully show up for life in all its richness and complexity. And while it can certainly include relaxing activities like bubble baths or spa days, and those are wonderful, it also encompasses the deeper, often less glamorous work. Consistently checking in with your inner state, proactively managing stress levels, and discovering healthy, constructive ways to cope with whatever challenges life inevitably throws your way. In a world full of stress, how can prioritizing peace and self-knowledge become your greatest superpower? And let's take a moment to specifically address stress. Stress is, to some degree, an unavoidable aspect of the human experience. Life will always present situations that cause pressure or tension. However, how you choose to manage that stress makes all the difference in your quality of life. Effective self-care involves actively finding personalized ways to decompress, to consciously let go of tension, and to cultivate inner peace, even amidst external chaos. Perhaps for you, this involves practices like meditation, prayer, or engaging in physical exercise. Maybe it's found through the therapeutic release of journaling, losing yourself in calming music, or connecting deeply with a trusted friend who truly understands you. Whatever methods resonate with you, make them a consistent priority. Because when you proactively manage your stress, you actively protect your invaluable inner peace. And peace is truly priceless. There's also a profound level of self-care that emerges from cultivating deep self-knowledge, from truly understanding yourself on an intimate level. This involves gaining clarity about your genuine needs, identifying what brings you authentic joy, recognizing what inevitably drains your energy, and discovering what truly fills your cup and replenishes your spirit. It's about honoring those identified needs without feeling the need to apologize or justify them. When you possess this deep self-awareness, you can provide yourself with the precise care you require in the exact moments you need it most. You can accurately recognize when you're pushing yourself too hard, when you desperately need a break, or when you require external support. And crucially, you can grant yourself the grace to take a necessary step back whenever needed, without self-judgment. The undeniable reality is this: when you consistently prioritize self-care, you inevitably show up in the world as the very best version of yourself, not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of everyone around you. You become a more patient partner, a more understanding parent, a more supportive friend, a more effective leader. You simply possess more patience, more empathy, and more genuine love to offer the world. Self-care isn't merely an act of love directed towards yourself. It is simultaneously an act of love directed towards the world. So if you take away anything vital from this discussion today, let it be this unwavering truth: you are absolutely worth the time, the effort, and the love required to take proper care of yourself. You unequivocally deserve to be at the very top of your own priority list. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. And when you make self-care a non-negotiable cornerstone of your life, you will inevitably find that so many of the problems you currently face begin to shrink, becoming smaller, far more manageable, and significantly less daunting. Because when you diligently take care of yourself, you strengthen your fundamental foundation. And with a truly strong foundation, you gain the resilience and capacity to handle absolutely anything life throws your way. What's the single most critical skill underlying all successful relationships, and how can mastering it transform your connections? If there's one undeniable truth I've learned through experience, it's that life fundamentally revolves around relationships. No matter where your journey takes you or what endeavors you pursue, your interactions with other people profoundly shape the vast majority of your lived experience. Whether it's within the dynamics of your workplace, the intimacy of your home, or your engagement with the wider world, the inherent quality of your relationships can make life feel either like a beautiful dream or a constant draining struggle. And residing at the very heart of every single strong, healthy relationship lies one absolutely critical skill: communication. Effective communication involves far more than just the act of talking. It's fundamentally about establishing genuine connection. It's about the reciprocal process of understanding others and feeling truly understood yourself. When communication flows clearly, honestly, and respectfully, it actively builds bridges between people. Conversely, when communication is lacking, unclear, or riddled with unspoken assumptions, it inevitably erects walls, fostering distance and misunderstanding. Think about it. A significant portion of the problems we encounter, whether friction at work, tension within our families, or conflicts in our friendships, can often be directly traced back to a fundamental breakdown in communication. But here's the encouraging news. Communication is a skill, and like any skill, it is something we can actively learn, practice, and significantly improve upon over time. Are you listening to reply or truly listening to understand? How can shifting your listening habits deepen trust? One of the most powerful and transformative tools available within the realm of communication is the art of deep listening. Not merely hearing the words being spoken, but genuinely, actively listening to comprehend the message behind them. You see, most of us habitually listen with the primary intention of formulating our reply, rather than focusing solely on understanding the speaker's perspective. We're often busy constructing our responses in our heads while the other person is still mid-sentence. But when we make the conscious choice to truly listen, when we intentionally set aside our own thoughts, judgments, and agendas, and fully concentrate on what is being shared, we create a precious, safe space. In this space, the other person feels genuinely valued, truly heard, and deeply respected. Offering someone your undivided attention in this way is an incredible gift. It possesses the power to completely transform conversations, significantly deepen connections, and proactively solve potential problems before they even have a chance to escalate. There's profound wisdom in the famous adage, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." When you approach listening without judgment, without a hidden agenda, you implicitly invite trust into the interaction. You open the door for authentic, meaningful dialogue to unfold. And trust, as we know, serves as the bedrock foundation upon which every strong, resilient relationship is built. When people feel secure in the knowledge that they can talk to you openly without fearing judgment or immediate dismissal, it changes the entire dynamic of the relationship. It actively fosters openness, encourages honesty, and cultivates a vital sense of emotional safety. Beyond listening, how can expressing yourself clearly and setting healthy boundaries strengthen your relationships? However, effective communication isn't solely about how adeptly you listen. It's also critically dependent on how clearly and respectfully you express yourself. It involves sharing your own thoughts, feelings, needs, and perspectives with clarity, honesty, and respect for the other person. It is perfectly okay, even necessary at times, to be vulnerable. It's okay to express how you truly feel, even when those feelings are difficult or uncomfortable to articulate. In fact, those challenging moments are often when clear and compassionate communication matters the absolute most. When you intentionally approach tough conversations with both honesty and kindness, you actively pave the way for potential resolution and mutual understanding. You proactively avoid the buildup of resentment and the pitfalls of misunderstanding, You provide the other person with a genuine opportunity to meet you where you are, fostering connection rather than conflict. And let's not overlook the crucial importance of establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries within our relationships. Healthy boundaries aren't intended to shut people out defensively. Rather, they serve to protect your inner peace, conserve your energy, and respect your personal limits. When you communicate your boundaries clearly, calmly, and consistently, you effectively teach others how you expect and deserve to be treated. You set the fundamental tone for healthy, balanced, and mutually respectful interactions. It's important to remember that boundaries aren't just necessary for navigating difficult relationships. They are vital components of every healthy relationship. They help maintain mutual respect, prevent emotional burnout, and ultimately allow you to show up as the best, most authentic version of yourself in all your connections. How can choosing response over reaction and practicing empathy navigate conflict and build stronger bonds? One of the most significant lessons I've learned regarding communication is accepting the reality that not every single conversation will unfold exactly the way you hope or envision. There will inevitably be misunderstandings. There will be times when emotions run high and things get heated. But it is precisely in those challenging moments that skillful communication is needed the absolute most. Instead of impulsively reacting out of anger or defensively shutting down, make a conscious effort to take a calming breath. Choose your words with deliberate care. Aim always to respond thoughtfully rather than merely react emotionally, because words possess immense power. They hold the capacity to either build bridges or erect walls, to heal wounds or inflict fresh ones. And once spoken, words cannot be easily taken back. We've all experienced those regrettable moments where we desperately wish we could rewind time and unsay something hurtful or careless. While the truth remains that you cannot undo the past, you absolutely can choose how you communicate moving forward. You can make the conscious choice to infuse your conversations with greater thoughtfulness, increased patience, and deeper empathy. You can choose to become the kind of person who actively listens to understand, who consistently seeks common ground, and who always speaks with integrity and kindness. And let's specifically touch upon the power of empathy for a moment. And empathy is the remarkable ability to step into someone else's shoes, to genuinely try to feel what they might be feeling, to see situations from their unique perspective. It stands as one of the greatest gifts you can possibly bring to any relationship. When you approach communication infused with empathy, you naturally shift the dynamic from an adversarial me versus you mindset to a collaborative us against the problem approach. This fundamental shift transforms the interaction, fostering unity instead of division. And when problems inevitably arise, as they always do in human relationships, empathy equips you to navigate them with far greater grace, compassion, and understanding. Are unspoken needs and assumptions causing friction in your life? How can clarity and action strengthen your communication? Remember, the people in your life are not mind readers. If you have a need, articulate it clearly. If something is bothering you, express it respectfully rather than letting it fester. If you genuinely appreciate someone, tell them directly. Don't assume they already know. Avoid falling into the trap of assuming that people inherently know what's going on inside your head. Consistently clear, open, and loving communication can proactively prevent so many of the painful misunderstandings that often lead to hurt feelings and fractured relationships. And while communication heavily involves words, it is equally, if not more significantly, about consistent actions. Show up for people when you say you will. Be fully present when you are with them. Ensure that your actions consistently align with and reinforce your words. Because sometimes the most powerful forms of communication don't involve speaking at all. They manifest through demonstrating care, through simply being there for someone in their time of need, through actively supporting their dreams and struggles, through consistently showing love and respect, not just when it's convenient or easy, but especially when it is needed the most. The undeniable truth is life is simply too short to allow unresolved conflicts to linger or important words to remain unsaid. It's too short to stubbornly hold on to grudges or let pride stand stubbornly in the way of healing and reconciliation. When you make the choice to communicate with an open, vulnerable heart, when you consistently lead with love and a genuine desire for understanding, you actively build relationships capable of weathering any storm life throws your way. You cultivate deep, meaningful connections that genuinely enrich your life and bring you profound, lasting joy. So if you truly desire to solve a significant portion, perhaps 93% of your problems, begin by closely examining your relationships. Take an honest look at how you communicate. Assess how well you truly listen and how honestly and vulnerably you share your own inner world. Because when you master the art of communication, you inevitably master the art of connection. And when your life is filled with strong, healthy, supportive connections, life itself becomes not only significantly easier, but also immeasurably more meaningful. How does your mindset about money, scarcity, or stewardship impact your financial well-being and overall peace? Money. It's one of those topics capable of stirring up a potent mix of emotions within us, isn't it? It can represent freedom and opportunity, or it can be a persistent source of anxiety and stress. It can serve as a valuable tool for building a better life, or it can feel like a constant heavy weight upon your shoulders. And the undeniable truth is, a significant portion of the problems many people face in life can be directly traced back to financial stress. Whether it manifests as heated arguments within the home, pervasive anxiety about the future, or simply feeling perpetually stuck and unable to progress. Financial challenges have a way of casting a long shadow over almost every aspect of our lives. But here is the genuinely good news. With the adoption of the right mindset and the cultivation of a little consistent discipline, you absolutely can transform your financial situation. And in doing so, you can bring significantly more peace, stability, and freedom into your life. The crucial first step involves understanding that money in and of itself is neither inherently good nor bad. It is simply a tool. It is how we choose to manage it, how we think about it, and how we ultimately utilize it that makes all the critical difference. The fundamental key lies in consciously shifting from a mindset rooted in scarcity to one grounded in responsible stewardship. A scarcity mindset perpetually focuses on what you don't have, often leading to feelings of fear, anxiety, and impulsive, detrimental decisions. Conversely, a stewardship mindset centers on wisely and intentionally managing the resources you do currently possess, making deliberate choices that pave the way for long-term stability and sustainable growth? Is living within your means deprivation, or the key to unlocking true financial and emotional freedom? One of the most practical and foundational lessons when it comes to developing financial wisdom is the principle of consistently living within your means. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages encouraging us to want more, buy more, and spend more, it requires genuine inner strength and discipline to confidently declare, what I currently have is enough. This isn't about embracing deprivation or denying yourself joy. Rather, it's about consciously prioritizing what truly holds value and meaning in your life. It involves learning to clearly distinguish between genuine needs and fleeting wants. Do you truly need that latest gadget, or is it merely a passing desire fueled by marketing? Can you actively cultivate joy and contentment with what you already possess, rather than constantly reaching for the next new thing? When you successfully learn the art of contentment, you discover a profound sense of freedom. Not just financial freedom, but deep emotional freedom as well. Budgeting emerges as another incredibly powerful tool in your financial arsenal. Often misunderstood as restrictive, budgeting is fundamentally about achieving clarity. A budget is simply a deliberate plan for your money. It's proactively telling your money where it should go instead of passively wondering where it all mysteriously went at the end of the month. When you take the time to create and follow a budget, you actively take control of your finances. You gain the ability to see the bigger financial picture, to prioritize spending according to your values, and to ensure your resources are strategically aligned with your most important goals. And if the very idea of budgeting feels overwhelming, simply start small. Commit to tracking your spending diligently for just 1 month. Observe honestly where your money is actually going. You might be genuinely surprised to uncover the various little leaks draining your financial ship. Once you gain this awareness, you can begin methodically plugging those holes. Even a small amount of awareness can catalyze significant positive changes over time. Why is saving not just for emergencies, but a powerful tool for building future options and peace of mind? Now let's talk about the habit of saving. It's one of those financial disciplines that doesn't always offer immediate gratification, but its long-term rewards are absolutely undeniable and profoundly impactful. Saving isn't merely about preparing for the proverbial rainy day or unexpected emergencies. It's fundamentally about building a solid foundation for your future. It's about consciously creating a financial cushion that allows you to breathe easier, handle unexpected emergencies without succumbing to panic, and seize valuable opportunities when they arise without financial constraint. Even if you feel you can only save a very small amount each month, do it consistently. Over time, those seemingly insignificant amounts accumulate significantly through the power of compounding. They provide you with options, choices, and flexibility. And having options is a powerful position to be in. Investing represents another crucial step in building lasting financial wisdom. While the world of investing can initially seem intimidating or complex, it doesn't have to be. At its core, investing is simply about making your existing money work for you, rather than you solely working for money. It involves taking the resources you have accumulated and strategically helping them grow over extended periods. whether this takes the form of investing in stocks, exploring real estate opportunities, or even investing in your own education and skill development, the underlying principle remains the same. Think long term. Aim to build something substantial that not only benefits you during your lifetime, but also potentially creates a lasting legacy for those who come after you. How can avoiding unnecessary debt and cultivating generosity lead to greater financial peace and purpose? One of the most critically important principles of sound financial wisdom involves actively avoiding unnecessary debt. Now, it's important to clarify that not all debt is inherently bad. Sometimes strategically taking on debt is necessary and even wise for pursuing higher education, purchasing a home, or launching a promising business venture. However, there exists a crucial difference between utilizing debt as a calculated tool for advancement and allowing it to devolve into a suffocating trap. High-interest credit cards, predatory loans, and impulsive buying fueled by easy credit. These are the common traps that can swiftly lead to overwhelming stress and crippling financial strain. If you currently find yourself burdened by debt, commit today to creating a clear, actionable plan to systematically get out of it. Tackle it intentionally, bit by bit, celebrating every small victory along the way. Because every single dollar you successfully pay off represents a tangible step towards reclaiming your financial freedom. It's also vital to remember that financial wisdom transcends mere numbers on a spreadsheet. It is deeply intertwined with your underlying mindset. It involves cultivating a healthy, respectful relationship with money, one where you acknowledge its importance and manage it wisely, but refuse to let it control your life or dictate your worth. Furthermore, true financial wisdom encompasses the practice of generosity. When you manage your money prudently and effectively, you often gain the capacity to give, to help others in need, to make a meaningful difference in the world around you. And that feeling, the ability not only to meet your own needs comfortably, but also to contribute positively to something greater than yourself, is incredibly powerful and fulfilling. If you find yourself navigating a particularly tough financial situation right now, please know this. It is absolutely never too late to initiate positive changes. Often the very first step is the hardest one to take, but it is simultaneously the most crucial. Whether that first step involves finally creating a realistic budget, setting up an automatic savings plan, or courageously reaching out for professional financial advice, take that step today. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Small, consistent, deliberate actions compound over time to produce significant, lasting results. Ultimately, achieving financial freedom isn't necessarily about amassing endless wealth. It's more fundamentally about having enough to comfortably meet your genuine needs, enough to create a sense of security and stability, and enough to find authentic joy and contentment in what you possess. It's about actively reducing financial stress and consciously increasing your inner peace. When you manage your finances wisely, you effectively remove a massive source of potential worry from your life. You begin to create a life where your major decisions are no longer dictated solely by monetary constraints, but are instead guided by your deeply held values and your inspiring vision for the future. Why is your mindset the ultimate control center for your life? And how can gratitude reshape your reality? One of the greatest and most empowering truths you can ever embrace in life is the understanding that your mind is your single most powerful asset. It possesses the incredible capacity to literally shape your perceived reality, profoundly influence the decisions you make, and ultimately determine the entire course and quality of your life. The way you habitually think directly impacts how you feel emotionally, how you behave externally, and consequently, what you are capable of achieving. And while we often tend to focus heavily on external circumstances, the events and situations happening around us, the real decisive battleground always lies within the landscape of our own minds. Therefore, mastering your mindset isn't just a helpful suggestion. It is absolutely essential if you genuinely desire to live a life characterized by peace, driven by purpose, and filled with deep fulfillment. Our minds are constantly buzzing with thoughts, a never-ending internal monologue. However, not all of these thoughts are necessarily helpful or constructive. In fact, if we're not consciously vigilant, many of our thoughts can become downright destructive, sabotaging our happiness and progress. Feelings of doubt, pervasive fear, persistent negativity, these are the insidious whispers that can effectively hold us back, the dark shadows that can easily cloud our vision and potential. But here is the empowering realization. Just because a negative or unhelpful thought happens to enter your mind doesn't automatically mean it has the right to take up permanent residence there. You possess the inherent power to consciously choose which thoughts you will entertain and engage with, and which ones you will simply acknowledge and let go. You're not a passive victim of your thoughts. You are the active gatekeeper of your own mind. How can reframing challenges and consciously choosing positive inputs transform setbacks into stepping stones? One of the most profoundly effective ways to begin mastering your mindset is through the consistent practice of gratitude. Gratitude extends far beyond merely uttering the words, "thank you." It represents a fundamental shift in perspective. It involves consciously choosing to focus your attention on what you do have, rather than dwelling on what you perceive to be lacking. It means actively recognizing and appreciating the blessings present in your life, even when navigating difficult challenges. When you deliberately cultivate an attitude of gratitude, you effectively train your mind to habitually seek out and acknowledge the good. And as you consistently focus on the good, it tends to grow, multiply, and fundamentally change the way you experience the world around you. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean denying the reality of difficulties or pretending problems don't exist. Rather, it's about acknowledging those challenges while simultaneously choosing to also see and appreciate the beauty, the lessons, and the positive aspects that often exist alongside them. Another crucial key to mastering your mindset lies in the skill of actively reframing challenges. Life will inevitably present difficulties. That much is a given. However, how you choose to view those difficulties makes all the difference in your ability to navigate them successfully. Instead of perceiving challenges solely as daunting roadblocks designed to stop you, try viewing them as valuable opportunities for growth and learning. Rather than falling into the trap of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" logically shift your internal question to, "What can I possibly learn from this situation?" Remember, every setback inherently carries a lesson within it. Every hardship holds the potential to forge greater strength and resilience within you. When you consciously shift your perspective in this manner, you simultaneously shift your personal power. You transition from being merely reactive to circumstances to becoming proactive in shaping your responses. You effectively become the author of your own life story, rather than remaining just a passive character subjected to its plot twists. Are the voices you allow in, external and internal, building you up or tearing you down? How can mindful consumption and positive self-talk fortify your mind? It's also critically important to be highly mindful of the various voices you consciously allow into your mind. The books you read, the shows you watch, the social media you consume, and significantly the people you choose to surround yourself with. All of these external inputs profoundly influence your internal thought patterns. If you consistently immerse yourself in negativity, criticism, or fear-based content, it's only natural that your prevailing mindset will begin to reflect that negative input. Conversely, when you intentionally fill your mind with positivity, inspiration, wisdom, and encouragement, you create fertile ground for a healthy, resilient, and optimistic mindset to flourish. Therefore, be deliberate and intentional about what you consume mentally and emotionally. Choose content that genuinely uplifts you, challenges you constructively, and actively nurtures your mind and spirit. And let's not forget the immense power of your internal self-talk. How you speak to yourself, especially during moments of difficulty or failure, matters immensely. When you inevitably make a mistake, do you immediately resort to harsh self-criticism, calling yourself names? Or do you choose to offer yourself grace, understanding, and encouragement to try again? When faced with a significant challenge, do you tell yourself, I can't possibly do this? Or do you actively remind yourself of your inherent strengths, past successes, and resilience? The words you consistently repeat to yourself internally eventually solidify into the core beliefs you hold about yourself and the world. And those deeply ingrained beliefs, in turn, powerfully guide your actions and shape your reality. Make a conscious commitment to speak to yourself with kindness and compassion. Become your own biggest cheerleader. Offer yourself the same level of encouragement and support that you would readily extend to a beloved friend or family member, because the quality of the relationship you cultivate with yourself ultimately sets the fundamental tone for every other relationship in your life. Are you carrying burdens that aren't yours? How can letting go of control and embracing visualization empower your mindset? Another vital aspect of mastering your mindset involves learning the liberating art of letting go. Specifically, letting go of the things you simply cannot control. A significant amount of our daily stress and anxiety stems directly from attempting to manage aspects of life that are fundamentally beyond our reach. We exhaust ourselves trying to control other people's actions, choices, and opinions. We fret endlessly about specific outcomes. We even try to micromanage the unpredictable future. But the liberating truth is, the only things you truly have direct control over are yourself, your own thoughts, your chosen responses, and your cultivated attitude. When you intentionally shift your focus towards what you can control and consciously release your grip on the rest, you inevitably find a deeper sense of peace. You stop carrying heavy burdens that were never actually yours to bear in the first place. Furthermore, cultivating a healthy mindset involves establishing firm boundaries, not just with other people, but also with yourself. It's about developing the wisdom to know when it's appropriate to push yourself towards a goal. and when it's necessary to allow yourself rest and recovery. It requires balancing disciplined effort with genuine self-compassion. Possessing a strong mindset doesn't imply that you will never struggle, feel down, or experience difficult emotions. Rather, it means that you learn to acknowledge those feelings without letting them completely define your identity or dictate your actions. You grant yourself permission to feel fully, to process honestly, and then crucially, to consciously choose to move forward constructively. You learn the invaluable skill of managing your emotions effectively rather than allowing them to manage you. How can partnering mindset with action turn your visualized dreams into tangible reality? One of the most potent tools available for maintaining and strengthening a positive mindset is the practice of visualization. Take time regularly to vividly imagine the life you aspire to live. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel the emotions associated with achieving it. Believe wholeheartedly in its possibility. Visualization isn't merely idle daydreaming. It's actively setting a clear direction and intention for your subconscious mind. When you consistently focus your mental energy on your desired goals and vividly imagine yourself successfully achieving them, your mind begins to actively seek out ways to make those visions a tangible reality. You effectively train your brain to notice relevant opportunities, devise strategies to overcome obstacles, and maintain motivation even when the journey inevitably becomes challenging. And when you powerfully combine intentional visualization with consistent, decisive action, that's when truly remarkable transformation begins to happen. Because possessing a positive mindset alone, while crucial, isn't sufficient. It absolutely must be partnered with tangible movement and effort. When you take even small incremental steps towards your goals, you powerfully reinforce that positive mindset. You build genuine self-confidence with each action taken. You prove to yourself through direct experience that you are indeed capable. And with every subsequent step, your mindset grows progressively stronger, more resilient, and more sharply focused. Mastering your mindset doesn't guarantee a life free from challenges or setbacks. Life will always present its share of difficulties. However, it does mean that when those challenging moments inevitably arrive, you will be far better prepared to face them. You'll approach them not with fear and despair, but with inner strength, accumulated wisdom, and unwavering hope. You'll learn to navigate the complexities of life not as a passive passenger merely enduring the ride, but as the empowered driver, confidently steering your way through the inevitable twists and turns. So, if you genuinely desire to fix a significant majority, perhaps 93% of your problems, begin by focusing intently on fixing your mindset. Because when you fundamentally change your mind, you inevitably change your life. And when you truly master your thoughts, there is virtually nothing you cannot achieve. What's the profound connection between giving and receiving? And how can service unlock lasting joy and purpose? One of the most profound and universally resonant lessons life teaches us is this. True, lasting fulfillment rarely stems from what we get for ourselves, but almost always arises from what we freely give to others. There exists a deep, enduring joy, a sense of profound satisfaction that emerges specifically from living a life oriented towards service, from intentionally using your unique gifts, your valuable time, and your available resources to make a positive difference, however small, in the lives of those around you. This is a fundamental truth that transcends cultural boundaries, religious beliefs, and personal circumstances. It operates on a simple yet powerful principle. When you give generously, you invariably receive in return, often in unexpected ways. When you intentionally pour into the lives of others, you find that you yourself are simultaneously filled and replenished. And when you choose to live with an open, compassionate heart, you initiate a beautiful ripple effect of kindness and love that extends far beyond your immediate sight or comprehension. Living a life dedicated to service doesn't necessarily require grand, heroic gestures. You don't have to embark on journeys to distant lands or make monumental personal sacrifices to have a meaningful impact. Often, service manifests most powerfully in the simple, everyday actions. Offering a genuinely kind word to someone who looks discouraged. Lending a patient, non-judgmental listening ear to someone needing to share their burden. Or extending a practical helping hand where needed. It might look like volunteering your time at a local shelter, mentoring a young person seeking guidance, or simply sharing a warm meal with someone experiencing loneliness or hardship. At its core, service is about being truly present for others. It's about consciously noticing the needs that exist around you and choosing to respond with genuine compassion and empathy. Remember, sometimes the seemingly smallest acts of kindness possess the power to make the absolute biggest difference in someone's life. How does focusing on others' needs paradoxically lead to healing and perspective in your own life? Furthermore, the act of serving isn't just about benefiting others, it simultaneously transforms you in profound ways. When you intentionally shift your focus towards serving the needs of those around you, your own perspective naturally begins to change. Instead of constantly dwelling on your personal problems or perceived shortcomings, you start to more clearly recognize and appreciate the abundant blessings already present in your own life. Instead of feeling perpetually weighed down by what you lack, you begin to realize the richness of what you genuinely have to offer. Engaging in service actively brings gratitude to the forefront of your consciousness. It effectively breaks the chains of self-centeredness and entitlement, replacing them with virtues like humility, empathy, and authentic love. It serves as a powerful reminder that regardless of the challenges you might currently be facing, you always possess the inherent power to be a source of light and hope in someone else's darkness. There's also something incredibly liberating about choosing to live a life centered around service. When your primary focus shifts towards the well-being of others, your own worries and anxieties often seem to diminish in significance. When you generously give of yourself, your time, your talents, your resources, you tap into a deeper, more meaningful sense of purpose. You come to realize that your individual life is intrinsically connected to and part of something much larger than yourself. And during those inevitable times when life feels particularly overwhelming, when you feel lost, uncertain, or adrift, one of the most effective antidotes is often to consciously reach out and find a way to help someone else. Because in those very moments of giving, you not only bring blessing to the recipient, but you frequently find unexpected healing, clarity, and direction for your own path as well. Conclusion. 1. As we conclude, remember these core lessons. Embracing growth, prioritizing self-care, mastering communication, practicing financial wisdom, cultivating a positive mindset, and living through service. They aren't just concepts. They are actionable tools. By weaving these principles into the fabric of your daily life, you address the roots of many challenges, paving the way for greater peace, purpose, and resilience. Embrace the journey, apply these truths, and watch your life transform. 2, life's challenges are inevitable, but your response is within your control. Which of these life lessons resonates most deeply with you right now? Choose one area, perhaps improving communication, practicing gratitude, or finding a small way to serve, and commit to taking one intentional step this week. Start small, stay consistent, and build a stronger foundation for a more fulfilling life. 3, consider the tapestry of your life. How are these principles, growth, self-care, connection, stewardship, mindset, service, currently reflected in your choices and actions? Where is there room for deeper integration? Remember, transforming your life isn't about perfection, but about persistent, intentional progression towards becoming the best version of yourself. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to watch our next videos.